In truth, consciousness does not expand, deepen, or transform. Consciousness is ever the same. It's our knowing of it that produces the tastes of knowing, deepening, entering into more profound appreciation of it. Knowing this, consciousness is not something then that we can modify. There is no change that can come about in consciousness. When we define consciousness this way, we are then left with the responsibility to know it. Our mind is situated in such a way that it begins to take responsibility for its lack of knowledge of consciousness. It's going to be the mind that expands, grows subtle, develops, and awakens. Awakening takes place in exactly the same locations as nescience, as ignorance. Ignorance is of the mind. Enlightenment is also of the mind, and the mind only. This is the distinction between one who knows reality and one who doesn't. The distinction or difference is in the mind of the human being in this case. In the case of one who knows, as opposed to one who does not know. The mind, therefore, is also what meditates, what enjoys the process of acquiring the skill to go into its own foundation. The foundation being pure consciousness or absolute being. When we realize that consciousness is already awake and free, we can then begin the serious and deep work of aligning our mind to our being in such a way that it begins to self-illumine. Illumination begins to creep into the mind, enlightening it regarding the nature of existence. That process is aided by the transmission of bliss, the transmission of consciousness. Consciousness is not going to literally move from A to B. Bliss is not going to travel literally from A to B. But as the mind makes room for it, consciousness will become self-known. And that mysterious process, even though we can't say exactly what it is or how it happens, is what constitutes self-awakening, self-realization. The time frame for each person in their process is also an unknowable. Time actually is not involved in this process, given that it's a descent back toward interiority, back toward being. Knowing that, we appreciate that the awakening is one of implicitness. It's one of simply becoming aware of essence. This gathering that I offer on the internet is meant to help in this entire process of mind awakening, of awakening and enlivening the mind to such an extent that it can begin to detect the timeless being within consciousness. That's the deepest form of communion that is possible on the human plane between human beings. This relationship in awakened consciousness, or you could say awakened minds participating in the one immovable consciousness. Given the fact that consciousness is already awake, it's fairly simple to begin pointing the mind toward consciousness. It will recognize this source. As a means to help that realization, transmission is offered. It's radiated. What I'm saying is that I'm offering a relationship with you in consciousness. Not a dualistic relationship, or it's minimalistically dual. Only in the sense that this image appears. But once you begin to sense the real sincerity within this relationship and its true nature, you'll see that it's only about consciousness. It's about inviting the mind to behold consciousness. And for that, divine light or non-duality, stillness, those are all the same. Devotion, rapturous inebriation in the subtle aspects of the mind and knowing process. That would be the second element. And the third transmission or element is divine love or devotional caring, compassion. When those three are offered together, then almost anyone can untangle themselves from the bondage of unenlightened experience. Experience that is occurring in an unclarified context. That is, the mind not having recognized its nature and yet still functioning. Still functioning in time and space dutifully. So this is the reason for this event, and I hope it's of value for you in precisely that way.